Keep it business, because I'm a monster in as well as outside of this ring. You do not want to make it personal. Believe me, your time is coming. When you see me move up to 130, just know your time is running thin. Your time is running real short, shorty. Don't ever play with me. Don't ever insult me and my integrity as an individual, as a man. Don't do that. Ever in a million years, y'all.
Those are the words of Gary Russell Jr. Of course, this was a message to Gervonta Tank Davis. As we seen, Gervonta Tank Davis pretty much whoop up on Ivan Red Cash, which is a welterweight. And it's weird because you're looking at a fighter that Gary Russell Jr., PBC fighter, Al Haymon fighter, that has problems getting fights. So he's moving up in weight. And, obviously, if Gary Russell Jr. has to address, like, hey, watch what you say to me, and try to disrespect me or insult me, don't take it personal, because, it's all about business in the ring, but don't take it personal, because that's a whole different situation. So obviously, Gervonta Tank Davis is either hinted to say something. I don't know if he actually made it public, or he said some kind of slickness or something on the on the sly that insinuates something negative towards Gary Russell Jr. And of course, Gary Russell is a very passionate, dedicated guy. He's very committed, I believe. He's I think Gary Russell Jr. is a very driven individual. He wants to challenge himself. And I think he's just on the wrong platform to do so, because all those guys there that he could fight, like Leo Santa Cruz should not be fighting Gervonta Tank Davis at 130. He should be fighting Gary Russell Jr. See, that's bad matchmaking, but what they're trying to do, they're trying to give a win to Gervonta Tank Davis and build his resume from a standpoint of less risk, okay? Because if he did fight someone like Lomachenko or something, that's too risky, because they don't know the outcome. So those guys make those fights when they can predict the most positive, or the best outcome, or more likely who would win. That's why the fights are the way they are. But then again, that's why people are starting to hate the PBC, because they're not making those fights. I remember when the PBC came out, and I was excited. I seen, you had guys like Thurman, Porter, Garcia, Broner, Wilder. You had like these guys, these undefeated guys at the time. Now, they all, like, some of them eventually fought, but I remember some of the promotions and the commercials for the PBC, free TV on PBC, Fox, and it was exciting because, I was really looking forward to getting fights, boxing back on free TV, regular television, prime time regular television. And it did well. A lot of people hated on it, like Oscar De La Hoya, and I'm like, okay. But I understand De La Hoya's standpoint, because a lot of those fighters, like Wilder, like Garcia, those guys left Golden Boy to go to the PBC with Al Haymon. So, he didn't like it. Of course, he didn't like that, and he tried to sue him and all this, that, and the other. But, that was the resistance, like people did to Zone. So really the same thing that happened to the PBC with the haters is happening with the Zone now, because it's a new platform. Well, some of those fights did happen, but on the promotion and the commercials, you clearly seen Adrian Broner and Danny Garcia. Adrian Broner doing this, or I think Danny Garcia is doing that, and it made you think, like, okay, wow, like Adrian Broner versus Danny Garcia, man, that's going to be a hot fight, So you've seen fights that some of them happen, like Thurman eventually fought Garcia, and Sean fought Garcia, and Garcia, he fought them both or whatever. Then you had some, new blood, like Errol Spence, and he had to wait forever. Okay. Gary Russell Jr. is like Errol Spence, but like for the last 3-4 years. Okay. And then it's like they'll put you on a timeout if you say something derogatory that they don't like. They put you on, a timeout or restriction, put you on punishment, okay? And I never seen a guy over there at that, on that platform more hungry than Gary Russell Jr. Everyone else looks like they've kind of got in line because, hey, Al Heyman will pay you good, and he'll give you fights that are not risky at all. If you're a boxer and you're about that life, if you just want to get paid, PBC is the best platform for you because you're not going to get tested. Even when mandatories and things like that, I think they find a way around that. But I do feel that Gary Russell Jr. is serious, and I would love to see him go to like 130, 135 to fight these guys, because I know he wants another crack at Lomachenko. Okay, so that type of fight, or those fights, could happen, but I think it's going to take Gary Russell to make some power moves for that to happen. But I would love to see him take on Gervonta Tank Davis. To me, that's a super fight. To me. And then what he said, it implies that Gary, Gervonta Tank Davis talks a lot anyway on Twitter. He's a young guy, he's very opinionated, especially over social media. Okay, so maybe he has said something bad or derogatory towards Gary Russell Jr., but, to listen to Gary Russell Jr., I never seen any weak in him, or any backing up in him, only resistance. That's what I see: resistance, dedication, and drivenness in that individual. But we'll see what happens if he goes up. Hopefully he gets the opportunity to take on these guys. Of course, you guys tell me what you think about Gary Russell Jr.'s comments. Please subscribe, and you guys been peace.